Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I'm the Dependent Fanatic, and today we're going to be talking about the history of Michigan tight ends and some of them on the roster today. I've already done histories of the quarterback position, halfback position, and wide receiver position after the glorious national championship that Michigan has just won. Now I'm going to talk about. We have four All Americans that I'm going to talk about throughout tight end history and a bunch of drafted tight ends. So here we go. Michigan loves multiple tight ends certain times. We bring in these packages and the room is very deep. You can pass out a two tight end set, but you can also run multiple different formations out of a two tight end set. It is one of Michigan's friends. The defense has no clue. You might throw it deep outside or over the middle with them or to the wide receivers. So other programs try to go outside in, and it sometimes works because programs that they play against aren't complete. But if you are a complete team, then the best thing to do is be very versatile in your offense, and that is what tight end provides for a team. All right, let's talk All Americans. Jim Mandich in 1969 was drafted 29th overall in 1970. He won the All American Award in 1969. He finished with 118 receptions for 1,489 yards. Both, I believe, were first at the time. Was MVP of that 1969 team in Bo's first year, the major upset over Woody Hayes in the game in the start of the 10-year war. Another All-American, Drame Tuman, in 1997. Tuman was drafted 136th overall in 1999. Part of the 1997 National Championship team, he finished with 98 receptions for 1,279 yards, and his 12 touchdowns in his Michigan career are second all time. Benny Jopro in 2002 was an All-American. Jopro was drafted 41st overall in 2003. He started 24 games. He finished with 85 receptions for 800 yards and 8 touchdowns. And then Jake Butt was an All-American in 2015. Butt was drafted 145th overall in 2017 after being a true team player and getting hurt in that bowl game. He could have sat out and made some money, but instead got hurt. But now he is doing great. Great broadcaster for the Big Ten Network. He finished with 138 receptions for 1,646 yards, second all-time in yards as a tight end. All right. Paul Seymour was a tight end that was drafted in 1973, 7th overall. Paul Seal was drafted 36th overall in 74. Greg Denboer was drafted 187th overall in 1975. Doug Marsh was drafted 33rd overall in 1980. Craig Dunaway in 1983 was drafted 218th overall. Eric Caddis was drafted 91st overall in 1986. Derek Walker was drafted in 1990, 163rd overall. Tony McGee was drafted in 1993, 35th overall. And Jay Remersma was drafted 244th overall in 1996. Aaron Shea was drafted 110th overall in 2000. Tim Massaquoi drafted 244th overall in 2006. Tyler Ecker was drafted to 16th in 2007. Zach Gentry was drafted 141st overall in 2019. Luke Schoonmaker was drafted 58th overall, in 2023. And A.J. Barner was drafted 121st in last year's NFL draft. Now, I left this guy out because he has the most receiving yards and receiving touchdowns by any tight end in Michigan history, and it's Devin Funchess. He was a tight end at Michigan, but was drafted as a wide receiver, 41st overall in 2015. He finished with 126 receptions for 1,715 career receiving yards and 15 touchdowns. All right, that's the past, and it's great. Now, what do we have on the team here today? Max Bredesen is a legacy player. His versatile skill set is what Michigan is all about. He is 6'2", 240 pounds. He had a bad play on special teams, but he made up for it during the course of the season. He could play if we wanted him to, tight end, halfback, fullback on any given play. He is an old school Swiss Army knife that we have in this offense. In 2 years, he's only had 7 catches for 97 yards, but that's a 13.9 average. But it's his unsung blocking and special teams play for this team that makes him great. He was brought to the Big Ten Media Days, so there must be plans for Max Bredesen. And now, Colston Loveland. This guy is a physical freak that can catch the ball. He's lean and mean. 6'5", 245 pounds. Kind of the mold of a Brock Bowers from Georgia. I think this guy is going to be the best pure tight end in the nation. He can block, but needs to get a little better at it. Could get better at it. But this guy can run and catch and run. Colston has had 61 receptions for 884 yards in 2 seasons, and that's a 14.5 average per completion. He had a long of 45 yards in 2022 and a long of 54 yards in 2023. The guy has 6 touchdowns receiving, which is pretty much a great feat as a sophomore in Michigan tight end history. Now he'll be a junior. And also, Marlon Klein is another freak on the team as a junior. 6'6", 250 pounds. Only 1 catch for 8 yards, but he can run. He waited behind A.J. Barner as that second tight end. So, not to mention, Brady Prescorn on this team is 6'6", 245-pound freshman, a 6'5", 240-pound sophomore in Deacon Tonelli, and Jalen Hoffman is a sophomore, Noah Howes is a senior, Brandon Mann is a junior, Zach Marshall is a sophomore, and then Hogan Hansen, a 6'5", 230-pound freshman. So the tight end position is good, in good hands for the University of Michigan this upcoming season. Wow, the history is great. The future looks promising. There you go, everybody. That's the history of tight ends at Michigan. If I missed anybody, let me know that was not drafted or not an All-American, but was a really great player. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Like the video, share with others out there on social media or through word of mouth, and subscribe if you have not. Thank you to those who have, and have a great day, and go blue.